But the problem is this is a studio, which is a garage, and this is not where I just have books. Like, so, you know, I could have fake books, but what would that do?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's always good to have, you know.
But and then of course I see people there. Well, Jen likes her listening books, and that's true too. I do like. Speaking of that, I do like listening to books.
Keep the audience entertained for a second, please.
Okay, so speaking of me enjoying audiobooks, let me remind everybody that on Thursday we're going to be speaking with Dr. Sarah Glass, whose book is called Kissing Girls on Shabbat. And I did do the audiobook, and it was great. She does her own narration, and she's got a lot of insight. I just find her extremely interesting. And oh my God. Oh my God.
I heard something about kissing girls on Shabbat. I knew a thing or two about that growing up in Brooklyn. We used to have these wonderful Friday night get-togethers with the friends and family. Jen, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. We had a lot of good time. You might have heard of it, called Spin the Bottle. And that was the first time that I had the opportunity to actually kiss a girl. And it was great. It took a lot of frogs to kiss Jane, but I eventually got there. And I'm a very lucky man even to this day.
I had a first kiss from Spin the Bottle. My first kiss was a Spin the Bottle kiss.
Well, that's great to know. And I thought it would also be important to come on here and remind each and every one of you that I am now out rallying to draw people back into the Democratic Party again. So if you haven't been to one of my rallies, as you can see, we're drawing huge crowds.
But what are you doing with those people? How are you like leading those people?
You can't ask me to do everything, Jen. I mean, I'm out there, I'm identifying the problems. The eggs are too expensive. We have to protect Ukraine. Don't ask me why I'm that one. They've given me reasons, and I just have to accept them. But cost of living is too high. The environment is really bad. And Trump's a dictator. Well, what do you want me to say? He's not a good guy. And my good friend...
He's not the problem, Bernie. He's the symptom of the problem. He's just a fair representation of what this country is, quite honestly.
Well, would you like to come to one of my rallies? Would you be interested in showing up?
Until you stop shepherding people into the party, I don't see the purpose of what you're doing at all. Because all you're doing is creating momentum that will have nowhere to go. So I don't understand. Unless you're corralling people to a general strike, then I don't understand the point of what you're doing.
Well, what we are doing is we're trying to remind people that this country's in a bad way right now, and that's about it.
Yes, but then what? Yes, thank you for pointing out the problem. I appreciate that. That was very helpful 10 years ago.
I've never had good follow-through. If you ever saw me play basketball, I kind of stop right here at the top. I don't follow through all the way on my jump shot, just like I don't follow all the way through on my politics. I can identify the problem, but my solutions don't seem to pan out too well. And that's
no. So as soon as you stop shepherding people into a feckless, useless, corporatist, elitist party and start ushering people in the direction of labor and a general strike, then what you're doing is not helping the revolution in any way. And at this point, for me, if you're not part of the solution, you're just an impediment to the solution. Otherwise known as part of the problem.
I'm out there trying to solve problems.
No, you're out there shepherding little sheep into the Democratic Party.
Well, look, the Democratic Party has a lot of problems. They may have stolen my 2 presidential nominations. They may have become a party of endless war. They may be a party that's even worse on the environment. They may even be a party that's worse on healthcare. They may even be a party that is worse on economic bureaucracy gone amok. And yet, they're still better, I think, maybe, possibly. I don't know what I can do anymore, Jen. I just hope people enjoy themselves coming to my parties, so whatever you want to call them. The little get-togethers are really important. And
Bernie, if I were you, seriously, and I'm not one of the people that ever harped on the fact that you've got the 3 houses. I think kudos for you. I think everything is everybody's personal.
Well, I have explained
My
this
suggestion
story.
to you, Bernie, is to get rid of the place in DC and move to the lake house that Jane's family has. Move there.
Really
Enjoy your life. I'm sure it's
appreciate it, Jen. If I remember correctly, you really like being up in the mountains and the
I do. And that's why I think what you should do now at your age is to go to the house, the lake house. Go be at the lake, Bernie. Go enjoy
being at the lake
for your service.
But Jen, the country needs me. That's the way it is.
No, the Democrats need you to be their useful idiot.
I have to go out there and continue to create false hope for too many people. That's my job. That's what I have to do.
It's just so unfortunate.
Goodbye.
And it is unfortunate.
It's pitiful. It's pitiful.
Well, no, because what Bernie is effectively doing is he's creating, listen, people have rage, people have concerns, and that's totally valid and understandable, but there's no follow through. What is he going to do?
Rage.
Is he just going to tell people that you have to go and support Gavin Newsom? Could you even imagine him doing that? How about Pete Buttigieg? How about that, Bernie? How about the guy who literally was a total fuck and a half for the Democratic establishment who screwed your run in let me tell you.
Oh, he'll be, if Bernie is still participating, and I mean, again, age is exponential, but yes, he will absolutely be out shilling for Pete Buttigieg.
If Bernie did what he was supposed to do and fought back the way that he should have, if Bernie had won in the fashion he needed to in terms of recognition for the Iowa caucuses in 2020, he would have won the New Hampshire primary by a much more substantial margin and would have also won the Nevada primary in a very substantial margin. Would that have made the difference? I don't know, but I know enough to know that he never fought the way that he needed to. And as a result, we're now stuck where we are. Bernie can identify the problem, but he's not willing to identify the solution that is really necessary.
Because he's part of the system that is the problem.
It is. And of all the people,
like, you're not going to get a solution. Yeah. You're not going to get a solution from the problem to fix the problem. Like, that's just silly.
Rashnu wants to know what you got there in that thing.
I'm always on whatever my guy brings me. We don't have recreational here.
You got a guy?
I have a guy. We only, and he delivers. We don't have recreational in Florida. We only have medicinal, and I refuse to pay the state for the ability to smoke. So I do not have an assortment available to me, and I don't like the Delta 8 shit. So no offense to people that do, if that's your jam. But so I have a guy, and basically what I get is what I get. And it's generally some sort of hybrid, and it's from California, and it's whatever it is. I honestly, I'm a cheap date.
When you think about Bernie complaining and trying to state his case about why we are where we are, but then you see what happens when Congressman Al Green from Houston starts his ruckus regarding Medicaid being cut, which I think is a legitimate gripe. I think anybody would agree. Medicaid is maybe the most vital government program that we have. And with Elon Musk being the co-commander-in-chief, making decisions basically that Trump just goes along with without pushback. You get this type of a problem, but then you also get a problem from a party that just throws Al Green under the bus, as he discussed the other day on the Breakfast Club.
And that going away. Don't you admire the fact that he is willing to do whatever he wants to do for his base? Well, that's what anybody who supported Democrats, that's all we ever want. Do something for the base. Keep your promises.
Yes.
He keeps his.
Yeah, well, we said, give us the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and we'll pass Voting Rights Act, John Lewis Voting Rights. We'll pass George Floyd Justice and Policing. Mm-hmm. We will raise the minimum wage. We will, for the labor folk, pass the PRO Act, Protect the Right to Organize Act. For the members of the LGBTQ plus community, we would pass the Equality Act. Well, we had the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and we didn't do it. That's your point. Mm-hmm. That's your point. Mm-hmm. We didn't do it. But here's to add to your point. When Republicans had the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and they didn't have enough votes to bring us to cloture is where you get 60 votes, so you pass something with 51 votes. Mm-hmm. When they couldn't get to cloture with 60 votes, they said, fine. They made the following motion, not in these exact words, when there was a federal judgeship up. They said, we believe that we should pass this judgeship on with 51 votes. And the chair overruled that and said, no, you've got to have 60. And I remember the person making this motion, asking this, said, I appeal the ruling of the chair. Now, when you appeal the ruling of the chair, you only have to have 51 votes. So the 51 votes then allowed them to take up the issue of placing this person on the Supreme Court with 51 votes, as opposed to 60. We did a similar thing with John Lewis voting rights. Mr. Schumer did. And when we took our votes, we had 48 Democrats to vote with us.
Well, whoever is controlling this camera is a fucking idiot, but that's neither here nor there. Here's the problem that Al Green and a lot of these other guys don't get, is that when you get right down to it, with all the problems that are going on, no one gives a fuck about a Voting Rights Act. That doesn't change anything. You're still stuck in this world where if we just voted a little fucking harder, that's going to solve the fact that we do not have clean water, we do not have a living wage, we do not have universal health care, we have endless war, and the planet's on fire. But let's vote harder, and that's what's going to fix it. No, the fact of the matter is, this is just a distraction. Is voting harder in certain areas than others? You bet your ass it is. But that would require actually going after the government regulations that are put in place to stop areas that are not going to vote in favor of capital. Not about whether or not you expand voting rights. It's about whether or not, if you remember, Jen, during the Arizona primary, the first time with Bernie and Hillary, they deliberately closed polling stations in areas like Arizona State University where they knew that Bernie was going to do very well.
They closed polling stations in states that are in different demographic communities all the time. That's what they do.
What about what they did? You know, what people also forget about Bloody Tuesday or Sunday, Bloody Sunday, whatever you wanted to call it, when all of the Dems dropped out except for Elizabeth Warren, hi Snake, and got behind Joe Biden. What people forget is that even in that moment, Bernie won the California primary and was absolutely going to win the Texas primary. Now, if he was able to say that he won the Texas and California primary, that would have been too big to ignore no matter how many states Biden won on that day. But what did they do in Texas and a number of places where there were large college communities? They shut down the polling stations. And these are Democratic strongholds.
Like this, like what Lila's saying.
Easily.
That's
and that was one of the first things.
200,000 people off the rolls. Yeah, and you see that in places, in lots of Dem places. You see that is rampant in Atlanta.
So you have Al Green here, who I'm sure is well.
Can we show my clip of Al Green? I have a better clip of Al Green.
Where is it?
I'm going to show you. Hold on. See.
Are you kidding? This is what you want me to... You're going to get our channel flagged, you know. You can't do this. Good to know that remember, we've got like 5 seconds that we can get away with that.
Every time. I do not care. Al Green, anything that has been on the screen in the past however many days about Al Green, I kid you not, all I'm hearing is let's stay together. Every time he could talk, I'm hearing, wah, 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 let's stay together. That's all I hear. Anyway, if you want to go back to your Al Green, that's fine. I just thought mine is better. As
I was saying.
Two did not. Manchin and Sinema did not. If they had, then Vice President Harris would have come over and been the 50. So
you're going to run into the same problem with John Fetterman. You're going to run into the same problem with whoever is the latest person that has to make sure that if a bill that is populist and progressive in nature will not pass. And the problem, of course, on the Democratic Party side is that they're all a bunch of cuck pussies. They just are. I hate having to say it that way, but this is the reality of what we're dealing with. You can complain and complain about decorum and why are they doing this and why are they doing that? Al, your own party threw you under the bus. And keep in mind, Al Green has no love for Israel or its lobby and takes no money from AIPAC. However, The 10 Democrats, including Jared Mouskowitz, that decided to vote to censure Mr. Green, they are all heavily funded by AIPAC and the Israel lobby.
People are having questions about cuck pussies. And what is that? They would like a better explanation.
Basically, people who get on their hands and knees and take it. That's basically what it means.
Oh, God.
They will not fight, and they will ask you for a second helping of, can I take it where the sun don't shine? That's basically what it means. They're not going to fight. And I love Bernie, but if you're going to do a rally, what is the message? People are hurting.
What's the
You
action?
know people are hurting.
Well, the problem is, okay, when Bernie was running the first time and even the second time, essentially he'd have a rally as a call to action. It's get out and vote. It's vote for me. It's what. What's the call to action now, Bernie?
Yeah.
What's the call to action? He doesn't have one, and that's the problem. So what's happening?
What are you going to do, Bernie? Are you going to tell people?
But this guy doesn't support single payer, from what I understand. So he was making some little token gesture about, I'm going to speak out about this Medicaid thing. Okay, great. That's very nice. That's very helpful. Thank you for getting, your 5 seconds of stardom, and Democrats doing a whole kente cloth, singing, praise thy Lord or whatever they were singing. But this guy doesn't support everybody having health care. So who gives a shit what his token theatrical thing was about Medicaid? That's what I think. Sorry.
He voted against an amendment to the Affordable Care Act, which prevented insurance programs created by the act from covering abortions, which I think means that he supports a woman's right to choose. I think that's what that means.
I don't see what you're reading, but in any event, the point is what he did is very political theater.
Of course.
Just like you have the bad guys we had with Manchin and Sinema, this is him playing whatever part he's playing in the political theater. It's not going to matter. It doesn't mean anything.
The one thing that I do love, which I find hysterical, is that if you look on his Wikipedia under personal life, it says Green is a Baptist Christian. He is also divorced. I guess religion only goes so far before you have to make a decision that doesn't go that flies in the face of all that. Look, it's all hypocrisy. It's all theater. And it's why most people don't care. And I don't blame them for not caring. So when you see Bernie going out there and advocating for people to just continue to do what we've always done, which is the definition of insanity, because nothing has changed, what do you expect is going to happen? You think this time around they're all of a sudden going to change tune and that they're just going to give in, that the Democrats have learned their lesson?
Oh, no. Oh, no. But the thing is, there's no lesson for them to learn. They're part of, I guess, yeah. It's a uniparty. It doesn't matter. There's no lesson to learn. It's not like the Democrats are really wanting to know, which is why, and
there is a lesson to be learned.
I'm glad Lila's there because it was really great on Punch Up last night where they were talking. They showed Gavin Newsom's little sit down with Charlie Kirk, and with essentially asking him, what should we do? Which is the most that in and of itself is just such a cuck move, which is ridiculous. You're asking Charlie Kirk, who's half your age, and you're asking him what you should do. That's just pathetic right there. But these people in no shape or form are going to get us out of this situation.